Would you bet your life on a gentle wrist lock? Think about that for a moment. Imagine a dark parking lot. Someone is angry. He is bigger than you. He is yelling. He wants your wallet. He wants to hurt you. He rushes forward. In that moment of pure fear and violence is your first best plan to gracefully capture his wrist and apply a small, precise joint lock you learned in a peaceful dojo? This is the uncomfortable question we must ask. The answer could be the difference between walking away and being carried away. Quick favor, please like this so we reach more martial artists. Aikido looks good in the dojo for many reasons. The environment is controlled, it is safe, the floor is covered in soft mats, people wear clean white uniforms, there is an atmosphere of calm and mutual respect. The instructor demonstrates a technique slowly and carefully. The students then pair up to practice. The movements are circular and flowing. They are often described as a dance. This peaceful, structured setting makes learning feel safe and accessible. It removes the fear. It removes the messiness. It is an attractive way to learn self-defense. Aikido is often called a gentle art. It focuses on blending with an attack, not meeting it with force. You learn to redirect momentum. You learn to use joint locks. You learn to use pins to control an opponent without causing serious injury. The philosophy is one of harmony and de-escalation. The goal is to neutralize a threat, not to destroy the person. Furthermore, the training partners are cooperative. This is a key point. In the dojo, your partner is called an uke. Their job is to attack in a specific way so that you, the nage, can practice your technique. The uke attacks with a committed but telegraphed motion. The uke follows and falls or taps to protect their joints. A real street attack is nothing like a dojo practice. The street is not a dance. It is a collision. If this helps, please share it. It is loud, it is fast, it is brutal. There are no mats. There is hard concrete, asphalt, uneven ground. There are no rules of engagement. The attacker is not your partner. He is an adversary. He will not attack with a clean, committed lunge. He may rush you from your blind spot, throw a wild punch, or try to slam you into a wall. The nature of the attack is fundamentally different. On the street, an attacker often uses short, explosive bursts. He might throw a flurry, avoid committing weight, and rely on strength and aggression. He will try to disrupt your balance. He will not stop and wait. He will keep hitting, grabbing, pushing until you are down. The environment is also a weapon. Traffic, walls, curbs, wet floors, broken glass. A real fight can happen in a crowded bar, a narrow hallway, a cluttered room. The slick, controlled footwork of Aikido can become impossible when the ground is unstable and obstacles are everywhere. Most importantly, the attacker will not cooperate. This cannot be overstated. If you try to apply a wrist lock, he will pull away, punch with the other hand, use strength to resist, and try to twist out. One of the biggest betrayals in a real fight is your own body. When you perceive a serious threat, your brain triggers a massive adrenaline dump. This is the fight or flight response. Your heart rate skyrockets. Your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. Blood is shunted to large muscle groups, preparing you for explosive, powerful action. However, this survival mechanism severely degrades your fine motor skills. These are the small, precise movements of your fingers and hands that are required for many complex tasks. Aikido joint locks are heavily reliant on fine motor skills. To apply a technique like a Nikkyo or a Kotegeshi, you need to grip the wrist just right. Manipulate small bones and joints with precise pressure and angles, with subtle, sensitive control. When your hands are shaking and your fingers feel numb and clumsy, these delicate movements become incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Your brain is screaming for big, simple actions, but the technique you trained demands small, complex ones. Think about trying to thread a needle while someone is screaming in your face. It is a similar challenge. Stress narrows your vision. Your focus locks onto the primary threat, blinding you to other dangers and even to your own hand position. You grab and miss. Your grip slips a few millimeters off and the lock has no effect while he keeps attacking. Aikido training is built on a foundation of compliance. Your partner attacks and you blend and control. The partner then complies, moving with the technique to avoid injury. This creates a feedback loop where the technique always seems to work. The street, however, is the domain of non-compliance. A real attacker has no incentive to comply. His goal is to defeat you. Subscribe for more practical training tips. When you attempt a lock, his natural reaction is to resist with all his might. He will pull, he will twist, he will fight the pressure, he will use shoulder and back muscles to power out. If he is stronger, he will often succeed. The technique stops being leverage and angles. It becomes a direct contest of strength. If you cannot dominate strength, the lock fails and you are left entangled at dangerous close range. Aikido often assumes a specific connection, controlling the center through a single point of contact, like the wrist or elbow. But a real attacker may be flailing, grabbing with two hands, tense and rigid or loose and unpredictable. Establishing the perfect connection is extremely difficult when he is fighting to break any connection you make. The one-shot nature of many Aikido techniques is another failure point. In reality, things are messy. Your first attempt will likely fail. Your second might fail too. An attacker who feels a lock starting will react violently and try to counter. You need a system with follow-ups and transitions when the first one fails. Relying on a single perfect lock is a recipe for disaster. No longer have to guess about what works under pressure. We have a vast amount of recorded evidence, security cameras, phone videos, police body cams. When you watch this footage, you see a consistent pattern. Pushing, shoving, wild punches, tackles, ground fighting. You see people using gross motor skills. What you almost never see is a clean, graceful Aikido-style joint lock ending a fight. There are numerous documented instances of joint lock training failing. In one famous video, a bouncer attempts a standing wrist lock. The patron pulls his arm free and punches the bouncer. The fight devolves into a messy brawl. The technique that worked on a compliant partner was useless against a resisting opponent. This is not an isolated incident. Another critical factor, multiple attackers. In reality, attackers swarm you simultaneously from different directions. They grab and hold while another hits. A delicate lock while his friend kicks your head is not viable. Your focus must be on creating distance, breaking contact, escaping. The presence of weapons changes the equation entirely. A small joint lock is a terrible defense against a knife. To apply it, you must get very close and control with precision, putting you at extreme risk of being cut or stabbed even if you succeed. Against a weapon, create distance, find a barrier, use an improvised weapon, escape. Engaging in a close-range locking technique is suicidal. If complex joint locks are unreliable under pressure, what is the alternative? The answer is brutal simplicity. When you are flooded with adrenaline, your body is primed for gross motor movements, large, powerful actions, legs, hips, shoulders. They do not require fine-tuned precision. Examples are pushing, pulling, running, striking with large body parts. The most reliable striking tools under stress are not fancy punches. They are simple, powerful hits that are hard to miss. Diagram: simple strike targets, palm to the chin, elbow to the temple, knee to the groin. Share and subscribe for more simple drills. A palm heel strike to the chin, a palm heel strike to the nose. An elbow strike to the head from close range is devastatingly powerful. A knee to the groin, a knee to the midsection, a hard stomp on the foot, a hard stomp on the knee. These are not elegant techniques. They are ugly. They are effective. They are easy to recall when you are terrified. Your primary goal in a street attack is not to win a fight. It is to survive and get away. Instead of trying to control and lock a grabbed wrist, practice a simple explosive wrist release. Rip your arm away using your whole body's power, often with a strike. Once you break free, do not stand there. Create distance, run. Put an obstacle between you and the attacker. Car, table. The best self-defense is not being there. Awareness and de-escalation are your first lines of defense. The most effective fight is the one that never happens. This does not mean you must abandon Aikido. The art has real benefits: body mechanics, balance, how to move efficiently, blending with energy, managing distance. To make it practical for self-defense, you must supplement it. Cross-training in other martial arts fills the gaps. Start with striking, boxing, Muay Thai. Learn how to hit hard, take a hit, move your feet, move your head, and defend against real punches. This training happens with resistance. You will spar with partners actively trying to hit you. This experience is invaluable. Next, grappling, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Powerful throws, clinch control, survival from your back, submissions that work against resistance, and getting back to your feet. The most important concept is pressure testing. Whatever you learn, test it under stress with non-cooperative partners in scenario-based drills. Start in bad positions. Practice with multiple uncooperative partners. Simulate chaos and resistance. Discover quickly what works and rely on simple high-percentage moves. In the end, the truth is clear and simple. Aikido is a beautiful and sophisticated martial art. It offers profound benefits in coordination, balance, discipline, and a philosophy of harmony. The flowing movements and graceful techniques are a form of physical poetry that can enrich your life. However, we must be brutally honest about its limitations as a sole system for self-defense in a violent street assault. Gentle wrist locks that work in the dojo are low percentage against a non-compliant attacker because adrenaline degrades fine motor skills and resistance breaks the chain. Multiple attackers or weapons make intricate control methods impractical and dangerous. Respect the art, but do not be deluded by its beauty. The path to genuine self-protection is practical: awareness, avoidance, de-escalation, simple strikes, distance, and escape. If this was useful, please share and subscribe. If you train in Aikido, insist on pressure testing, add striking and grappling, ask hard questions, and seek honest answers.